The studio lights of Good Morning America blazed brightly that morning, setting the stage for what was supposed to be a routine promotional interview with Hollywood heavyweight Tom Hardy. The actor, known for his intense roles in films like Mad Max, Fury Road and The Dark Knight Rises, was there to discuss his latest blockbuster, a gritty crime thriller that had already generated Oscar buzz. George Stephanopoulos, the seasoned GMA anchor with a reputation for sharp questions, welcomed Hardy with his trademark polished smile. The audience, both in the studio and watching at home, buzzed with anticipation, expecting a charismatic exchange between the star and the host, but no one could have predicted the storm that was about to erupt. From the moment Hardy sat down, his body language was tense, arms crossed, jaw tight, eyes scanning the set like a man bracing for battle. Stephanopoulos, ever the professional, opened with standard questions about the film's production, Hardy's preparation for the role, and the challenges of playing a morally complex character. The actor's responses were clipped, almost curt, hinting at an underlying discomfort. Viewers at home might have chalked it up to Hardy's well-known aversion to press junkets, but those in the studio could feel the air growing heavy. Then, Stephanopoulos veered into more personal territory, asking about Hardy's reputation for being difficult on set, a rumor that has dogged the actor for years. The question landed like a spark in a powder keg. Hardy's eyes narrowed, and he leaned forward, his voice low but laced with steel. "Define difficult, George," he said, the words dripping with challenge. The audience shifted uncomfortably, sensing the interview was taking a dangerous turn. Stephanopoulos, perhaps caught off guard but unwilling to back down, pressed further, citing unnamed sources who claimed Hardy's intensity sometimes clashed with directors. The actor's response was a slow, deliberate laugh that sent chills through the room. "You're quoting tabloids now?" he shot back. "I thought this was Good Morning America, not a gossip rag." The tension was palpable, and producers in the control room exchanged nervous glances. This wasn't the light-hearted promo chat they'd planned. Social media began to light up as viewers posted about the awkward exchange, with hashtags like #TomHardigma and #GeorgeVS.Tom trending almost instantly. The interview was only minutes in, and already it felt like a boxing match, with both men circling each other, looking for an opening. What happened next would turn a tense moment into a full-blown spectacle that would dominate headlines for days. As the interview continued, the atmosphere in the GMA studio grew increasingly fraught. Tom Hardy, now visibly agitated, leaned back in his chair, his fingers drumming on the armrest as George Stephanopoulos maintained his composed demeanor, though his eyes betrayed a flicker of unease. The anchor, known for his political interviews where he's faced off against seasoned politicians, seemed determined to hold his ground. He pivoted to a question about Hardy's recent comments in a magazine interview, where the actor had criticized the media's obsession with celebrity personal lives over their craft. "Do you think that kind of stance alienates your fans?" Stephanopoulos asked, his tone measured but pointed. Hardy's face darkened, and for a moment, it seemed he might let the question slide. Instead, he leaned into the microphone, his voice steady but razor-sharp. "What alienates fans, George, is when journalists twist words to fit a narrative. You're doing it right now." The audience gasped audibly, and a few nervous laughs rippled through the studio. Stephanopoulos, perhaps sensing he'd struck a nerve, tried to steer the conversation back to the film, but Hardy wasn't having it. "You invited me here to talk about my work," he said, his British accent cutting through the air. "So why are we talking about rumors and clickbait?" The accusation hung in the room, and the live feed captured every second of the uncomfortable silence that followed. Behind the scenes, producers were scrambling, unsure whether to cut to commercial or let the drama unfold. Social media was now in a frenzy, with ex-users posting clips of the exchange, some praising Hardy for calling out media tactics, others accusing him of being overly sensitive. One user wrote, "Tom Hardy just read George for filth. This is why I stand him." Another countered, "He's acting like a diva. George is just doing his job." The clash was no longer just a moment on morning television, it was a cultural flashpoint, with viewers picking sides. Stephanopoulos, ever the professional, tried to regain control, offering a tight smile and saying, let's talk about the film's action sequences. But Hardy, now fully in combat mode, wasn't ready to move on. You want to talk about action? Let's talk about the action of taking someone's words out of context, he said, his voice rising. The studio audience was riveted, some whispering to each other, others filming on their phones. The producers, realizing the segment was spiraling, signaled for a commercial break, but not before Hardy dropped one final bombshell that would ensure this moment lived on in infamy. The commercial break did little to cool the simmering tension on the Good Morning America set. When the cameras rolled again, Tom Hardy was still seated, but his posture screamed defiance. Legs spread, hands clasped tightly, eyes locked on George Stephanopoulos like a predator sizing up its prey. The anchor, now visibly rattled but maintaining his professional veneer, attempted to reset the tone. "Welcome back," he said, addressing the audience with a forced chuckle. "We're here with Tom Hardy, talking about his new film." But Hardy wasn't interested in playing along. He interrupted, his voice calm but cutting. "Let's be real, George. You didn't bring me here to talk about the film. You wanted a soundbite, something to go viral. Well, you've got it." The studio fell silent, the weight of his words sinking in. Stephanopoulos, caught off balance, tried to laugh it off, but the attempt fell flat. "I'm just asking the questions people want answers to," he replied, a hint of defensiveness creeping into his voice. That's when Hardy went for the jugular. "People want authenticity, not this scripted nonsense," he said, gesturing to the set. "You're not digging for truth, you're digging for drama." The audience erupted in a mix of gasps and murmurs, some nodding in agreement, others stunned by the audacity. On X, the clip of Hardy's takedown was already racking up millions of views, with users debating whether he was a hero for calling out the media or a loose cannon who'd gone too far. One post read, "Tom Hardy just exposed the whole morning show game, respect." Another argued, "He's burning bridges he might regret." In the studio, the producers were in full panic mode, whispering furiously into their headsets. Stephanopoulos, now red-faced, tried to pivot again, but Hardy was relentless. "You want to know about my film? It's about real people, real struggles, not this fake, polished garbage," he said, waving a hand at the bright GMA set. The audience was eating it up, some even clapping, which only fueled the chaos. Sensing the segment was unsalvageable, a producer signaled for another break, but Hardy had one more move. He stood up, removed his microphone, and said, "I'm done here." The cameras caught every second as he walked off the set, leaving Stephanopoulos speechless and the audience in shock. The moment was electric, a rare glimpse of raw, unfiltered celebrity rebellion on live TV. As Hardy disappeared backstage, the internet exploded, and the story of his dramatic exit was just beginning to spread. The aftermath of Tom Hardy's walk-off from Good Morning America was nothing short of a media firestorm. As soon as the show cut to commercial, the studio erupted in chaos, producers shouting, audience members buzzing, and Stephanopoulos staring blankly at the desk, clearly blindsided. Backstage, reports later emerged that Hardy had stormed out of the building, ignoring pleas from GMA staff to return and smooth things over. The clip of his exit was already breaking the internet, with news outlets and gossip sites racing to publish headlines like "Tom Hardy's explosive GMA meltdown" and "Did Hardy just end his career?" On X, the debate raged on, with fans and critics dissecting every word of the exchange. Some hailed Hardy as a truth-teller, a rare celebrity willing to challenge the media's playbook. "He's right, interviews like this are just traps for drama," one user posted, garnering thousands of likes. Others, however, saw it as an unprofessional tantrum. He knew what he signed up for. "Why go on GMA if you're just gonna implode?" Another wrote. Meanwhile, Stephanopoulos and the GMA team faced their own scrutiny. Some accused the anchor of baiting Hardy with loaded questions, while others defended his journalistic approach. "George was just doing his job," a supporter tweeted. "Hardy needs to grow up." Off-air, sources close to the production claimed the interview was doomed from the start. Hardy's team had reportedly warned GMA to avoid personal questions, a request the producers ignored in pursuit of ratings. By midday, the story had spread to every major outlet, from CNN to TMZ, with pundits weighing in on what it meant for Hardy's career and the state of morning television. Some speculated he'd be blacklisted from future ABC appearances, while others predicted the controversy would only boost his film's box office. Hardy himself remained silent, posting nothing on social media, which only fueled the speculation. His publicist issued a brief statement: "Tom is passionate about his work and prefers to let it speak for itself." Back at GMA, Stephanopoulos addressed the incident at the end of the show, saying, "We had a lively discussion today, and we wish Tom the best with his new film." The diplomatic tone did little to quell the frenzy, as viewers continued to share memes and hot takes online. The incident had exposed a raw nerve in the entertainment industry, raising questions about authenticity, media manipulation, and the price of fame. As the dust settled, the Tom Hardy GMA saga took on a life of its own, becoming a case study in celebrity culture and media dynamics. Talk shows and podcasts dedicated entire segments to analyzing the clash, with hosts debating whether Hardy's outburst was a calculated move to generate buzz or a genuine moment of frustration. Entertainment analysts pointed out that Hardy has always been an enigma, fiercely private, often prickly in interviews, yet undeniably talented. "He's not here to play the Hollywood game," one commentator noted on a popular YouTube channel. "But walking off GMA? That's a bold line to cross." The incident also sparked a broader conversation about the role of morning shows like GMA, which often blur the line between journalism and entertainment. Critics argued that Stephanopoulos' questions, while not malicious, were designed to provoke a reaction, a tactic common in the race for viral content. "They wanted a moment, and they got one," a media professor told CNN. On X, the hashtag #TeamTom trended alongside #TeamGeorge, with fans creating montages of Hardy's best on-screen moments to show their support. Meanwhile, GMA's ratings spiked, proving that controversy sells. Behind the scenes, reports emerged that ABC executives were divided, some furious at the PR nightmare, others thrilled by the attention. Stephanopoulos, for his part, maintained a low profile, though sources said he was shaken by the encounter. Hardy's film, meanwhile, saw a surge in ticket pre-sales, suggesting that the scandal might have inadvertently boosted its visibility. Some speculated that Hardy's walk-off was a strategic middle finger to the media, a way to reclaim control of his narrative. Others weren't so sure, pointing to his history of shunning the spotlight. A week later, Hardy finally broke his silence in a cryptic Instagram post, sharing a still from his film with the caption, "Let the work speak." The ambiguity only added fuel to the fire, with fans reading it as a defiant jab at GMA. The incident also prompted apologies from ABC, with a spokesperson saying, "We regret any misunderstanding during the interview and look forward to future opportunities with Tom." Whether Hardy would ever return to the GMA set remained unclear, but one thing was certain: the clash had left an indelible mark on both his career and the show's legacy. Weeks after the explosive Good Morning America incident, the Tom Hardy-George Stephanopoulos feud continued to reverberate across pop culture. The viral clip of Hardy's walk-off had amassed tens of millions of views, spawning countless memes, parodies, and even a Saturday Night Live skit where a comedian playing Hardy stormed off a mock talk show set. The public remained divided, as some saw Hardy as a hero for standing up to what they viewed as media overreach, while others labeled him a hothead who'd squandered a golden promotional opportunity. On X, the conversation evolved, with users digging into Hardy's past interviews to argue he'd always been skeptical of the press. "This isn't new for Tom," one fan tweeted, linking to a 2015 interview where he bristled at personal questions. "He's just done playing nice." Meanwhile, GMA faced its own reckoning, with critics questioning whether the show's pursuit of gotcha moments had gone too far. Stephanopoulos, a veteran journalist, became a lightning rod for the debate, with some praising his tenacity and others accusing him of pushing Hardy too hard. In a rare follow-up, Stephanopoulos addressed the incident on his Sunday show this week, saying, "Interviews can get heated, but our goal is always to inform, not inflame." The statement did little to quiet the online chatter. Hardy, meanwhile, stayed focused on his film, which opened to strong reviews and solid box office numbers, suggesting the controversy hadn't hurt his draw. Some industry insiders speculated that the incident might even enhance his bad boy image, appealing to audiences who admire his defiance. Others warned that alienating major networks like ABC could limit his future exposure. As awards season approached, buzz around Hardy's performance grew, with some predicting an Oscar nod. GMA, for its part, moved on, with Stephanopoulos and co-anchors Robin Roberts and Michael Strahan returning to their usual blend of news and light-hearted segments. Yet the shadow of the Hardy clash lingered, a reminder of the fragile dance between celebrities and the media. For Hardy, the incident was a line in the sand, a declaration that he'd rather walk away than play by Hollywood's rules. For GMA, it was a lesson in the risks of chasing drama. As one ex-user put it, Tom Hardy didn't just leave the set, he left a legacy. Whether that legacy would define him as a rebel or a liability remained to be seen, but one thing was clear: the world would be watching his next move.